It's a little soggy today. We've been getting some, not heavy rains, but steady rains in the evenings. It's been a little cloudy out for the last few days. We're almost in April, kind of getting to the end of March here. So I'm sure plenty of people are starting to feel the itch like myself. However, sometimes when you're getting ready to do some yard landscaping work, other things pop up. You know, things just happen to fall off the house, and then you got to take care of it. So yeah, I've got a radon mitigation system on this house. It was installed before we moved in by the previous owners. And the other day I heard a little bang and go to look outside, and I said, oh, that pipe doesn't belong there. And so yeah, it had fallen off the house. It looks like it was held on, if you see here, just a couple of straps with a simple screw put in. So yeah, just figured at some point it was going to fail. But then I came down and I looked and I saw this. Well, that's not too good. I said, okay, well, you know, might as well, being myself, maybe I'll just get a whole new set of pipe and I'll just kind of rebuild the thing. How much can it be, right? A couple bucks for some PVC? No. A 10-foot piece of 4-inch PVC right now is $55. Yeah, no, there's nothing else wrong with that pipe. So what I'm actually going to do is I bought a coupler, and I'm just going to clean up that edge. I'm going to couple it together. It'll be just fine. And I bought some new brackets, some nice big U-brackets that we're going to throw on there with some better screws, some lags that we can get in there. Short ones. They're only inch and a half lags, so they're not terrible. They won't go through the house. But you know what? We're going to fix it. We're going to do it right, and it won't be a problem again until the next person buys this house after I'm long gone, hopefully. So stick around. Little impromptu how-to, but hey, if you got a system like that, never hurts. Just maybe as part of your yearly thing, which I typically do. You just do a check on it, you clean it off, you power wash it, make sure the system's running good, and yeah, moving on. We'll take care of that today. There we go. So yep, we're gonna fix this today. One of the things I actually did, because I didn't have time to get to it and we had the rain, you'll see here, I turned it off, unplugged it, and I covered it with a trash bag just so that I didn't have to deal with any water. And that seemed to pay off because, yeah, there's the water. Perfect. Cool. Awesome. And if you've never seen one of these before, let me show you what we got here. So this is what they call a radon mitigation system. So you see the pipe goes through the house down into my basement, and in the basement side there is another pipe right on the wall that I can see with a gauge. And all the gauge does, it really just shows you that there's vacuum pressure. So one side of it's a big U shape. One side has it sits a little bit lower than the other, and I'll show you that when we go inside when it's turned on. But basically it just runs right up the length of the house, and that's it. And it was, again, mounted in 2 positions. So I'm going to mount it in those same 2 spots. Obviously, I'm going to use a better bracket. And I'll go right over the padding here so that it's up against the house nice and flush, and it kind of gives it a little bit of a insulation or a padded support. But basically, radon is an invisible gas. A lot of houses, if you're built on rock, generally, some of it just kind of naturally comes out of the ground. And so more so recently than in the past, it has come up as a thing. And so a lot of houses, especially when you're buying homes around CT that are not older, this house was built in 96, but that do not have these systems, you do run a test for it. And if the levels come up a little high, they put these systems in. They can be anywhere from, $1,000 to $1,500 or so, but maybe that's more than inflation. Again, didn't pay for this when it came with the house, and it runs all the time, and it uses the equivalent, I'm told, of a 60-watt light bulb. So don't know what the lifespan on it is. This one is probably a little bit more than 10 years old right now, so still running strong. But again, when it decides to stop running, I'll just buy a new unit and pop it on here and go about my day. Anyway, we're gonna move into the fix. All right, here we go. So I got my same sealant for the pipe that I've got for the rubber cement from last time. I got my hacksaw. I got a coupler, 4-inch coupler, and I got some nice big thick U-brackets here that are going to do just the right job to hold that pipe in place where I want it. I got a little bit of just the sealant or caulk, because I'm going to take those old screws out of the siding and just dab a little bit of caulk in there. And then I picked up these guys. Again, the screws that were in there were probably just some type of construction or drywall screw. But I've got these guys. These are 1.5 inch lags. Again, this is all galvanized, so I'm not going to worry too much about the rusting, but I wanted to make sure I got these to get a nice bite, and that should be more than enough to hold that pipe. Again, it's not really going to go anywhere, but it's on the side of the house. There could be the potential, you know, wind comes, bangs it around, pushes it, wants to rip it off, but those should do more than the trick. So we're going to go get the pipe, and we're going to cut up those sections to get the coupling in. All right, so I actually did something a little different here. I didn't want to keep making connections, so I saw the brake. This was actually in here, and it was a coupler. So this is a shorter pipe that they had used that went over to where the brake was. So I actually ended up just taking my heat gun. I warmed this up a little bit and just started prying, and now I got this out. Sweet. I just saved myself some time. So all I now have to do is this pipe will just be cut right there. We'll clean that end up. We'll pop this back on, and we'll be good for everything. So I'm actually going to go ahead and just clean this up a little bit. On the inside, we're going to cut a clean line there, and then we're going to go ahead and cement it in, and then we'll go and reinstall. All right, we got a cut. We got that end ready to go. I went and took my, here it is. It's a small file. Just went around the edges, inside, outside, flat faced it, just kind of cleaned up the edge. And now we're gonna go ahead and do the primer and some cement. There you go. Gives you a good front row seat to what we got going on here. So, got my beautiful purple primer. So we're gonna put this on the inside and the outside. So take it and just sweep it all around. Really a nice color. And like I said, I'm a little bit of a weirdo. I don't know why. Not that I would want to sit here and smell this all day, but I don't really mind the smell of it. Go figure. Let's do a little bit on this one because we know it goes in. There we go. Primed. Perfect. Next, close that up. I'll wipe the excess in a little bit. Now, cement. This is not going to want to come off, so we're going to go get a pair of pliers for this. There we go. That should help us a little bit. We'll just get it to the right size. There we go. I used it previously on the other video you'll get to see, where I did the basement pipe. So now the cement, same deal. Rub it on the inside where you did the primer. Again, this is not going to be holding any water. This is strictly to help the gas or the air get pumped out of the basement. So, I'm not too worried about it being this super tight connection that's going to be holding back water. There we go. Now we'll go ahead and join them. It is beautiful, but now I want to make sure that sticks out from the house. So this needs to come like that. I want to make sure I have it lined up. Perfect. Because it doesn't just go straight up, because the house has a little bit of an eave. So if this went flush up, it would kind of be bending out a little bit. So that's why they put this little bit of a kink in it to have it go up and away. And because of, I'll show you, the way that is away from the house, and then it comes back up and in against this part of the pipe sits up against the house basically, and that's how it flows out. So that's why I want to make sure that we are following that same line. Easy peasy. this is gonna go ahead and do its drying thing, and then we're gonna go ahead and get it mounted. Ladder. And then I need the big ladder to go all the way up there so I can put the mount on. There we go. Currently, storage for everything patio-wise, but there we go. I made myself a nice little ladder rack you can see right there. Works awesome, keeps it up and out of the way. It's not in the garage in the way, because it used to be sitting right where my wife's car was. And since this is a new car and I don't trust the doors, especially with the kids, being open and closed out of the way, I did that. So we're gonna go ahead and get this ladder down, set it up on the side of the house, and we're gonna go up and get those screws out so I can fill the holes, because I don't need rusty screws just sitting on the side of my house. Never underestimate the importance of a good ladder too. When I first moved into this house, they had a 24-foot extension one, older style, had the round rungs on it. It was metal, but it was scary as all hell to go up on. But I used it, don't know why, I'm just an idiot I guess. But I did upgrade that. This is a Werner, it's a 28-foot extension ladder. It's got a little weight to it, but I'll tell you what, you feel like you're on a platform on this. So again, I can't stress the importance of, if you're gonna get a ladder, just make sure you get a good one, make sure it's solid. Just don't rely on anything old. Again, it's worth the investment, especially if you're going up a lot. Anyway, there's my PSA for the day. Yep, just a rusty construction screw. Probably, honestly, if I look at it, it'll probably end up being some type of drywall screw, some 2.5 inch, whatever, but it's rusty, it's old. That's one of the break points. But again, that new bracket's gonna be a heck of a lot more secure. So we'll pull this out and we'll throw some DAP in there. I think that looks a lot better. Hole is filled. It's gonna be covered by the pipe anyway, but that'll just prevent anything from getting in there and behind the vinyl. Well, you can never have enough ladders, I guess, right? So, yeah, I could have reached that one if I stretched it, but you know what? If you got the tools, you might as well use them. You can never have enough ladders. So this is my 8-foot, again, this is a Louisville, but it's an 8-foot fiberglass. So that goes inside, outside, kind of does all kinds of odd stuff, but that'll get me right to that last screw that I need to get to. Same deal, we're just gonna pop it out and then fill the hole with a little bit of DAP. All right, we're gonna think about a plan of attack. I got my 3/8 with, I wanna say this is a 12. I've got my screws, which are actually the exact same size in terms of depth. I can get it out of my pocket. 1.5 inch. These guys right here that were there, just again, generic construction decking screw that just gave out because it was on the back side here. You can see right there, it was just kind of sitting. And this just finally gave out, that's all. So we're gonna mount these on the same place and cover it over. And if I can be good about it, I can cover it where the little stain lines are for these screws. And we'll be all set. So we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put this pipe on, and then I'm gonna walk it up, and I'm gonna attach that one first. I'm gonna do the far one first. That way there's not a lot of pressure on this lower one trying to hold the pipe while it's bouncing around. I can get the top one in and then come down and do the bottom. So that's the plan of attack. There you go. It's a heck of a lot sturdier than it was before. Wasn't gonna fit over this, but that's okay. But yeah, this is now in, and you could probably hang from it. Let's go do the lower one. There you go. Now it's not going anywhere. Perfect. You can hear it running. It's doing its thing. Let me go show you the basement quick so you can see what that gauge looks like. That's about as easy as a repair gets, I would imagine. So again, you can see the rest of the system as it comes down. They drill the hole through the foundation. There's a space there, and that just does its thing. And you can see right here, you can actually hear it. And this actually does, it turns right into white noise after a while. However, this gauge, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't, the ones and the two mean nothing. All it is really to show that there is negative pressure. So basically when this is off, these are both kind of sitting here together. And when it's on, you can see it's got a little bit of a draw, which means there's negative pressure, which is doing its job. That's it. It's as easy as it is. It was a simple one, but again, it's something you should check on. I check it randomly. I'm at times throughout the year, and I also do a quick inspection on it when I'm doing the house cleaning and power washing. But yeah, unexpected, but again, we did a quick fix on it. Didn't cost a lot of money, so good job. Thanks, guys. Hope you learned something. Kick.
It's really hard doing it both.
Liam, what are you doing?
Daddy! Push us by the feet. Pull our feet. Pull our feet and do it.
I can't, Jeep. Breeze off.